Very good morning, friends, and welcome to today's market commentary. So, the gap down which you are seeing today is because of the cross border tension, and Nifty opened gap down today. So, because of this gap down, what happens is people who were long till now. So, let me just recall whatever we have seen in earlier sessions as well. So, from here, a good bearish rally was seen in Nifty, and when there was a gap up opening, so people who were already short here, they have short covered their positions, so that in turn has brought some sort of bullishness in Nifty, and again new participants entered here. So since last 3 days, based on the OI data also, we can see that new bullish participants were seen. Now because of this gap down opening, people who are already long in Nifty futures, to escape their stop loss, they'll try to close their positions. So if they close their positions, which where Nifty has already opened gap down, it will further lead to a downfall, because people who are long, to close their positions, they need to short. So new shortings will happen and Nifty is bound to come down. So now what happens is the high made by Nifty today, which is 10,837, that itself becomes a strong resistance on the upside. So a clear picture can be seen on the hourly chart. So this is the hourly chart of Nifty. So this gap down will now act as a strong resistance to Nifty, 10,878 and 10,775. So this 100-point zone will now act as a very strong resistance to Nifty. Added to that, so it is coming down near the central pivot point of this week. So if it takes a support here and bounces back, then that's a good news. And from this central pivot point of 726, we can at least ride until 10,875. So that's around 150-point zone. And if it doesn't do so, and if it closes even below the central pivot point, then we'll need to put this S1 and then the prior swing low as our targets. I'm repeating it again. Since Nifty opened gap down now, the nearest support which is visible to us is the central pivot point. If Nifty takes a support near the central pivot point and bounces back, you can go long there, keeping 10 points below the central pivot point as your stop loss. You can go long here, and your final target should be 10,875. So 10,720 to 10,870. So that's a 150-point zone. This will hold only when Nifty sustains above the central pivot point of this week. If it does not sustain above that, and if it closes further below the central pivot point, you should be strictly on the shorter side. S1 is your first target and the prior swing low is your second target. This is how you need to proceed with Nifty now. And what else do we observe here? Sharp fall in RSI and this DMI crossover also we can see, minus DMI crossing over plus DMI. So yes, that sharp fall in RSI is also because of the gap down opening, huge gap down opening that we are able to see here. Now even if it comes down, one should remember that this 10,585 is a very strong support to Nifty on the downside, because 2 times we could see that Nifty taking a very clear support there. And if you want to make it into a zone, then 535 to 585 is your strong support zone for Nifty. So that's a 50-point zone on the downside. So if you don't want to take a chance here, and if you want to wait until the tension across the border settles down, so wait until price comes down to 535 to 585 zone, then try to find bullish opportunities there. Same with Bank Nifty as well. So the huge gap down. Now on plain chart, the first level of support for Bank Nifty is around 26,620, and the second level of support is around 26,430. Yeah, so long-term support is 26,430. If you want to wait until the tension settles down, you can wait until Bank Nifty comes down to 26,430, and there you can try finding a good bullish opportunity. Now S1 of this week is at 26,620. That is the area where we have a natural support as well. So this confluence of support 26,620 will at least hold for an hour, because that's a confluence of support. It will have some value, and we can see Bank Nifty holding this 26,620 at least for some time, or at least for one hour. If it is so strong enough, then a bounce back can be seen from here itself. But there will definitely be a strong support here, 26,620. And on the daily time frame, so daily time frame, this is the trend line support, short term trend line support, I can say. So below this trend line support, bearishness will start in Bank Nifty, and as visible on the chart, 26,620 is the area where we can expect a good support. Now coming to the stocks for the day, now these will hold only when the bullishness will start in the market. But just keep these stocks in your watch list. This is a long-term trend line resistance for Bajajfinsv. So if a candle settles above this trend line resistance, you can expect the stock going up to 6,600. Then you have Bharat Even here also you have a trend line resistance. But now since there's a strong downside, you can even mark that. So now this becomes a good triangle pattern here. So mostly the stock will be on downside. So RSI also, if you see, since many days it is trying to come down below 40 level since 30th Jan. So once it comes down below 40, and once the candle closes below the support level, good bearishness can be seen in Bharat and Bharat Forge trend line resistance. Above this trend line resistance, stock will be bullish. HCL Technologies as well. It's a kind of cup and handle pattern, and the neckline is 1085. So above 1085, we see a close. There's a probability that stock will come until 1125. Indusindbk now mostly on the downside. So this is the trend line support. Now it is at the verge of breaking down. Indusindbk. So when the stock closes below this support level, 1457, you can expect it immediately coming down to 1430, and below 1430, large target coming up. Then there is Shree Cements. So Shree Cements is bullish above 16,640. Above 16,640, you don't see any major resistances on the left side. So at least until 17,400, you can expect the stock to come up. And finally, Sunpharma. So even Sunpharma is also on downside now, because that's a strong rejection from the trendline resistance. So this is the trendline support for Sunpharma. And below this trendline support, first target is 412, second target 403, and then as and when there's a swing high, you need to modify your stop loss and trail your stop loss. So these are the stocks and indices from my side. Thank you all for joining.